Coming up tonight in Our News, Bahama residents face off with a government minister at a town hall meeting. Plus, we've got public reaction to government's China travel ban. And find out what the education minister has to say about a viral video of schoolgirls dancing to a vulgar song.
Our News is brought to you by Alive.
Welcome to Our News and thanks for joining us. I'm Jared Higgs. Topping news tonight, tempers flared at a town hall meeting in Grand Bahama last night as the government's Disaster Reconstruction Authority sought to answer some of the many questions residents of that island have 5 months after Hurricane Dorian. As Kyle Joaquin tells us, many East End residents weren't too pleased with the progress made thus far.
But I expect to see you too. At least come look at my face. Even if you can't do nothing for me, let me see your face.
Albertha Cooper, a longtime resident of Grand Bahama, was not there for any long talk. The former chief counselor said she was left disappointed with the progress made since Dorian struck in early September and what she feels is a lack of empathy by government officials.
You saying somebody been there, but I ain't seen no one. I live there.
I can tell you, Albertha, that people have been there.
I was told,
I can tell you.
When I went to NEMA and the other offices, that they were told that Smith Point and Maytown had no damage. I don't know how they could say that.
I can't answer that. But I can tell you that people have been in Maytown more than once.
They must have come midnight because I live in Maytown. I'm there every day. Every day.
I can't answer that.
And she wasn't the only one looking to get answers last night during the Disaster Reconstruction Authority's town hall meeting for East Grand Bahama. A panel of reps from the island's power company, social services, and the utility companies caught some heat.
I think it's 2020. You people have let us down tremendously. Man can live without food, but they cannot live without water.
Are we going to be paying for this water every month that is still salty until May? Because I keep getting bills on my phone.
If you're getting the full amount, please come see me or visit our customer relations department downtown.
I'll be here first thing Monday morning, God's willing.
Residents also had questions about the $1.5 billion worth of pledges. This resident feels all donations should be split between those affected by the storm.
Donation was made for what reason? For the people. If you know people was in Grand Bahama, you think people was going to send money here after a hurricane? Who they can send it to? The authority last night also announced the launch of its small homes repair program, set to begin February 10th, when affected residents would be eligible to receive vouchers worth up to $10,000 to go towards building materials and labor.
The purchase orders for materials can only be spent on island. We have to keep the money in the country. We need to support the small businesses so they can keep people employed. And I had this question already asked. I have an aunt who has some plywood. She could get it on a discount at Home Depot. Can I get a purchase order? I am so sorry. The money has to be spent in the Bahamas.
For many East Enders, the question of electricity was also a hot topic, as well as what's being done for business owners.
Even though I'm going solar, since you said power is coming, so I don't have to buy the batteries anymore if power is coming, do you have an actual date so I can save that battery money?
So now we all know power is coming. It would be in about the May time frame.
Our micro loan goes with the $50,000. And if the business is in fisheries or farming, that's another $50,000 grant. So there are a lot of opportunities for all small businesses in Grand Bahama to get assistance they need.
The authority is tonight taking its town hall meetings to Abaco, with one in Marsh Harbor and another on Treasure Key. From Grand Bahama for Our News, I'm Kyle Joaquin.
Members of the public are reacting to a government-imposed ban on persons who have visited China in the past 20 days. That decision came as concerns about the coronavirus, which originated in Wuhan, China, spread globally.
I know some people may not like coming to the Bahamas and being asked so many questions, but it's for the best interest of the population of the Bahamas.
With the country banning non-residents who have visited China in the past 20 days and quarantining residents who return home from the Asian country, many Bahamians, like restaurant proprietor MINNIS, are erring on the side of caution.
I think that it's a very, very dangerous disease so far. And I think us in the Caribbean just need to do all of the precautions to keep people on the borderline from moving, coming from China or any part where it's being spreading.
MINNIS recognizes that with the Bahamas welcoming record visitors, that means an increased risk of public health issues. Other members of the public agreed.
God is good to me, man. I don't get sick or nothing.
We don't want it to come here because we don't want it to get our family or our children. But our government, so full, they like the Chinese, so hopefully it don't come here.
Health officials announced the travel restrictions on Thursday afternoon, telling media that 2 people have already returned home from China and are being quarantined at an undisclosed location. Earlier in the day, the World Health Organization declared the virus a global health emergency.
You can't live in fear.
While many express apprehension, this visitor from Canada is appealing for reason. Ross Cole is from London, Ontario, where health officials say 17 people are being investigated for possibly having the virus. Still, he says the situation should be approached with a level head.
Millions of people in the world, and there's so few that are affected. The chances of coming in contact is very slim. It's real, but it's slim.
Despite Cole's feelings, government's ban means the billions of people living in China and those who have visited in recent weeks won't be allowed in the country.
And I agree with that, to protect the majority of the citizens. I think it's a good thing, and that's what they should do.
A 29-year-old Jamaican woman pleaded not guilty to 3 counts of trafficking in persons at her arraignment today. Abigail Jemison told Magistrate Andrew Forbes that she is married to a Bahamian and has a spousal permit. Jemison is accused of holding 3 women between January 14th and 24th for the purposes of exploitation. Forbes told Jemison he did not have jurisdiction to grant her bail and she would be remanded to the Bahamas Department of Corrections. She was given a bail application to submit to the Supreme Court. The matter was adjourned to March 31st for trial. Meanwhile, the serious issue of abortion is not on the MINNIS administration's legislative agenda, according to Health Minister Dr. DUANE Sands, who said his personal views don't arise, but rather the policies of the ministry and the government. Sands asserted if there is a groundswell of demand for addressing abortions, it will move up on government's agenda. Giorgio Bain reports.
As the discussion on abortion resurfaces, Minister of Health Dr. DUANE Sands confirming that it is still not on the Ministry of Health's agenda. He did say while it is an issue, it's up to the public to get the discussion started. Abortion is criminalized in the Bahamas through the Penal Code of 1924. However, it allows for abortion to be lawfully permitted under specific circumstances relating explicitly to the preservation of the mental and physical health of the woman and to save the life of the woman. Minister of Health Dr. DUANE Sands, who once called the issue of abortion a political hot potato, admitted it's not high on the government's agenda.
We are about to roll out or put on the agenda, Health is asking for a compendium of health bills to go to the Cabinet and then onward to the House of Assembly. A bill for abortion is not among them. And so that is not one of our legislative priorities at this time.
Before he was appointed Minister of Health, Sands said the country must be prepared to sacrifice 1 or more young women every year on the altar of "I'm not touching that." However, this week he said while botched abortions remain an issue, the government has more pressing matters to attend to.
I think we see it not infrequently. Bear in mind that whatever my personal views are don't really arise here, and that we have to speak about what the policy of this ministry and the policy of the government would be. I've gone on record many times in speaking about this issue, and you need only go back and review your files, the articles that have been published over the last 10 years. This is an issue, and in a civil society we have discussions, debates.
Sands insisted it is up to the residents to get the ball rolling on the issue before change comes about.
I think it's very important that we have a conversation, that conversation be allowed to take place, supported, and then it drives what lawmakers do. We listen, we actually listen to people, and if there is a groundswell of demand for addressing this issue, then I'm sure that it will move up on the legislative agenda.
Reporting for our news, I'm Giorgio Bain.
As government seeks approval from Parliament to borrow nearly $600 million, opposition leader Philip Brave Davis is slamming the MINNIS administration's fiscal performance, calling it a complete mess. Jasmine Brown reports.
Davis did not hold back as he slammed the government over its fiscal performance, particularly the decision to borrow nearly $600 million.
Yesterday was just an admission and a confession of their terrible handling of the fiscal affairs of this country. It is just a complete mess, and we are headed to a disaster.
According to the first 6-month budget performance snapshot and fiscal report released last night, the government collected roughly $1.1 billion in revenue, a 9.1% increase over the previous year. The figures still indicate a significant shortfall for the halfway point in the fiscal year, in which the government had originally projected to collect $2.6 billion. Government will borrow an additional $587.9 million to cover the revenue shortfall and expenditure increase. Davis says it is clear the MINNIS government does not have its financial house in order.
As you can see, just by looking at the numbers and how they intend to spend what they're borrowing, it is hardly related to the Dorian effect. And so it speaks to the fact that they are now trying to cover and pay for the missteps that they've taken over the last 2.5 years that they've been managing our affairs.
Finance Minister Peter Turnquest has said a combination of lost revenue from Abaco and Grand Bahama due to Hurricane Dorian, along with associated spending and unbudgeted items, is projected to push the country's fiscal deficit for 2019-2020 to a record $677.5 million. Davis said he isn't exactly surprised by the MINNIS administration's fiscal performance.
I foreshadowed that certain measures had to be taken, which were not taken, and they resorted to continuing to borrow. And again, that has not proven to be as efficient as possible, because you can talk about borrowing, but the lenders have to be satisfied that you as a borrower will be able to pay back those funds.
Reporting for our News, I'm Jasmine Brown.
Still to come, recovery efforts on Ragged Island continue to be questioned. Stay tuned.
Phone is good. Internet is good. TV is good. But why just pick one thing when you can have everything with Trio? Only $99 a month gets you phone, internet, and cable. That's everything you need for $99 a month. Ask for Trio. Call 601-2200 or email residentialsales@cablebahamas.com. Rev, you and us together.
PLP Deputy Leader Chester Cooper is once again slamming government's progress on Ragged Island, which was pummeled by Hurricane Irma back in 2017. He said residents are outraged that nearly 3 years later, the world still thinks the island is not open for business. Bethany McDermott reports.
We still don't have a nurse. We still don't have an administration building on Ragged Island. There are many things that we need as a result of Hurricane Irma that impacted Ragged Island more than 2 years ago.
Following the passage of Hurricane Irma in September 2017, Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis labeled the island uninhabitable and pledged to transform Ragged Island into a green island. Nearly 3 years later, the island has seen little to no progress. BPL Chairman Donovan Moxley recently announced that the power company will introduce solar energy to Ragged Island by the end of the month. Area MP Chester Cooper says residents are very annoyed that it took this long for some activity to begin.
Tourists who would have gone to Ragged Island are no longer going because of the lack of services, and perhaps because they believe that Ragged Island is out of commission. It's out of commission in the sense that it's not where it was pre-2017.
His comments come days after Tourism Minister Dionisio de Aguilar apologized for a magazine advertisement that suggested Ragged Island and Abaco are not open for business from tourists.
And it's very unfortunate that tourists might think, as a result of an ad or as a result of this label, that they ought not go to Ragged Island. essentially because a label has been placed on Ragged Island by people who ought to have been able to do something about it, the Prime Minister himself.
The ad, produced by the Ministry of Tourism, shows 15 of the Bahamas' inhabited islands highlighted in yellow and read 15 islands welcome you with open arms. Abaco and Ragged Island are in gray.
We urge the government to get the essential services in place and then let the world know that Ragged Island is open for business.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Berthany McDermott.
At a time when gun violence in the country continues to dominate headlines, Bahamians had strong reactions to a video of young students dancing to a popular song. Italia Clark tells us more.
A group of students from a local public school in a video pointing what appears to be a toy gun is making its rounds on social media, some questioning authorities as to how that song and choreography was approved. The viral video shows a group of students dancing to a popular dancehall song, Gunman and She Hole. One of the girls can also be seen pointing a toy gun at the other girls. At a time when gun violence continues to claim the lives of dozens of Bahamians each year, Bahamians were outraged.
I don't understand how that even got past any administration.
Any image that promotes violence should be unaccepted, no matter how innocent it seems.
I feel that at that age it is a bit too young for you to act in that manner, especially in a school setting.
Bahamians also sounded off on the video on social media. This person posted, "Imagine sending your daughter to school and she does this for the talent show. I would scream." Another said, "They should have never picked this song. Now we have a crime issue." While this person insisted, "They look pretty put together and did a good job. The only thing I see wrong with it is the song." Our news team spoke with Minister of Education, who told us officials are aware of the video. He said he needed to verify which school it was and find out exactly what transpired before commenting further publicly. Our news also contacted the school several times for comments, but was repeatedly told the principal was in a meeting. This UB said he will give the faculty at the school the benefit of the doubt.
They probably had nothing to do with it. You know, a lot of times students do their own thing, and they probably did get reprimanded for whatever the case may be. So I wouldn't put the administration at fault unless I actually know the situation.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Italia Clark.
When Our News comes back from the break, students shine during Junior JUNKANOO. Stay tuned.
Phone is good. Internet is good. TV is good. But why just pick one thing when you can have everything with Tria? Only $99 a month gets you phone, internet, and cable. That's everything you need for $99 a month. Ask for Tria. Call 601-2200 or email residentialsales@cablebahamas.com. Rev, you and us together.
Students of Preston Albury High will return to Eleuthera this weekend with a big trophy and bragging rights after capturing the top prize at last night's 32nd annual Junior JUNKANOO Parade. Students danced their hearts out on Bay Street, securing 92 points. In the all-age schools division, Lyford Key students scored a win with 89.6 points. First Step Academy took home the top prize in the primary school division, while the Big Apple took home first place in the preschool division. Unlike the big parades on Bay, Junior JUNKANOO results were released just 20 minutes after the parade ended. Co-chairs of the National JUNKANOO Committee, Kishlane Smith and Dwight Marshall, say the results are final.
Final, everything is final. We'll have it in a couple of minutes, bringing that back the old school way of doing JUNKANOO, where they call it right after the parade. Everybody's going to find out tonight who won, and it's final.
Final.
Minister of Youth, Sports and Culture, LANISHA ROLLE, stressed the importance of Junior JUNKANOO.
This is something that brings us together, that unites us, and for us it's heritage. This is something that has started many, many years ago. And so coming together and for the children sharing this knowledge, and for us sharing this knowledge with them, it's very important so that they understand who they are, where they came from, and they are confident in where they are going.
Some of the clear crowd favorites were students who flew in from the Family Islands, including Mangrove Key District of Schools, Preston Albury High, and the Bimini District of Schools. After last night's parade, the NJC co-chair said New Providence schools better watch out.
But one thing I can say, the schools on New Providence take heed.
Right.
Because the Family Islanders are certainly gunning. And if there is, when there is an Olympics of JUNKANOO, and all of the islands come together as one, as we did years ago when we had the Bahama, 1992, I forget that. I was at the Bahama Games. As we had the Bahama Games, we're going to have the JUNKANOO, Olympics of JUNKANOO one day. It's our dream, Dwight and I.
Right.
And when that happens, New Providence, all I can say is, boy,
they ain't afraid.
Listen,
They've thrown
these
down the
Family
gauntlet.
Islanders have brought it tonight.
Where will you be at kickoff time at Super Bowl 54 in sunny Miami? Well, Fusion Superplex is serving up food, fun, and football on a 50-foot screen this Sunday during its Super Bowl party. Marketing and social media manager Timothy BAIN says it's the next best thing to catching the big game in Hard Rock Stadium.
So this Sunday we have the second year of the showdown at the Superplex. So this is the big game. This is the reason why you watch football. Who will win the ring? So right now we have our XS3, which stands for extra seats, extra sound, extra screen. There's the biggest screen in NASA. I don't care what type of projector you have. No one else has a 50-foot wide screen. And we unfortunately like to do the all-inclusive thing. We don't want you to have to pay one price. We like to take one bill from you, and you come here and you have a good time. So for $50, you can eat all you could eat. The game usually starts about 6:30, so all you can eat.
From 3 p.m. Sunday, football fans will be tailgating in Fusion's parking lot. Here's where you can get your tickets for football at Fusion.
Prior to that, from 3 p.m., we'll have a tailgate right in the parking lot. So we'll have wings on sale. We'll have the other bears I talked about on sale. Some music, the Collect girls will be having games. You could win some prizes from Collect, win some prizes from Fusion. You could come right to our Fusion Superplex in our box office and ask for the Super Bowl, or go online at fusionsuperplex.com/showtimes. Go to February 2nd, you'll see Showdown Superplex, or you'll see the Super Bowl. Buy tickets, $50.